Dr. O, heavy duty news over the weekend as, the United States involved itself in the conflict between Israel and Iran. 3 targets aimed at the nuclear ambitions, or perhaps the advanced nuclear efforts of the state of Iran. That story is significant, and it will be told by others. I mean, we're taping the show, like I said, on the 23rd, and there's certainly a lot that's happened since our involvement started. And by the time that people listen to this, there will be things that have transpired that we will not be able to cover. So what I would like to focus on very specifically here would be the economic ramifications of a disruption of 2 things. One, oil production. I mean, specific to Iran, because Iran accounted for, I think in 2023, like 12% of the world's oil reserve, or held 12% of the world's oil reserve. And in that same year, I believe, was the 4th largest producer in OPEC. So a significant player. But this conflict takes place, in that region where the Strait of Hormuz is. And that's a significant corridor for the movement of oil and petroleum goods. So, I mean, in this current scenario, for as much as we know, what are your thoughts on just the economics associated with this situation?
Yeah, look, 1/5 of global oil and petroleum trade. So critical energy choke point. And so very, very important. The immediate, first of all, I want to say, my heart goes out to the innocent people in the middle of the conflict, on both sides. And, because there are people that are out there, that are living through this, and it's a horrible thing. And so, but ultimately also the economic implications here are, potentially, an increase in oil prices, which had been essentially, heading lower, right? Had been really good in terms of getting inflation under control. Energy prices had been coming down. And that was a positive, right? For us trying to bring inflation back to the 2% target. Oil prices rising are a bad thing. It's a supply shock. They act as a tax on businesses and consumers. They're stagflationary, right? Because the price goes up, but at the same time, the cost means that businesses cannot, use their, capital to invest in new operations and grow their businesses, because all of a sudden their energy bill is much higher than they used to be. So that's a problem. And that's the direct implication. The second thing is, today, when we look at treasury yields, this flight to safety is happening. When people are afraid about the future, they're uncertain about the future, when they're worried that there won't be a lot of growth, they park their money in the safest place possible, which is the U.S. Treasury. And so it's got to see U.S. Treasury yields falling as the U.S. gets involved in the conflict. And of course, yields are down on the day. That's the immediate market reaction.
Right. So what is it that we should be looking at from here with regard simply to the economic side of this? I mean, what are the sort of what are the mile markers ahead as this conflict continues? In terms of economically, I mean, what should we be expecting from here? Again, it's like, we don't want to speculate on how long this is going to last. We don't want to speculate on the United States involvement or whether that was just a one-time thing. But I mean, what is it that you would be paying attention to with regard to this situation?
The good news for us in the U.S. is that the U.S. has turned into a net energy exporter, not importer.
Right.
And so I think for us in the US, we're somewhat shielded. The Europeans, perhaps not so much. And so I continue to see global growth slowing down this year, but perhaps even faster, because of the conflicts that are going on around the world.
Yeah, well, this is obviously it's an evolving situation, but I think it was absolutely worthwhile to stop and take a look at this and evaluate on some level, at least initially here, what the economic ramifications for this might be. So we can call it good right there.